Welcome to Divine Encounters. I am your hostess, the Oracle of Apollo, and I am here today to bring you another supernatural story time. If this is your first time watching Divine Encounters, welcome. This show is about understanding quantum jumps bring healing, recognizing that we are not alone in this world, and these are true accounts from people all over the world sharing their stories and their unique fingerprints with divinity. Thank you so much for being here, and let's jump in to the show.
It's paradise inside of our hearts, and it feels so nice to pray in the dark. Beings of light, see who you are. 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 See who you are.
Welcome to Divine Encounters. I am your hostess, the Oracle of Apollo, multidimensional trance medium, Reiki master teacher, integrated energy therapy master instructor, spiritual advisor, and energy coach. And every single Wednesday night, we bring you another supernatural story time to help you realize that there's more than meets the eye and maybe make the impossible seem possible. Today, I have a beautiful guest with me, and she's going to share all about who she is in just a moment. And if you would like to work with someone like myself, you can go ahead and check me out here in this little block right there, oracleofapollo.com. You can book me for a private reading, cleansing, healing anywhere in the world. We can meet on Zoom, or if you would like to have me for a private or group event or for commercial reasons, please, you can check me out here. If you have a supernatural story time that you want to share with our audience here on the E360 TV network and Trajectory TV, you can check us out at Divine Encounters at E360 TV Live, and I would love to share your message. Wonderful. Let's see. Thank you, everybody, so much for being here. Hey, Jamie Lane. And make sure you guys check out the whole living show after this, because we're going to be talking about Jamie Lane's magazine, which is amazing, which I did not do this month, but we will be there next month, 1000% for sure. Robert, hey, Mr. Robert, thank you so much for being here. So give a Divine Encounters welcome to Miss Crystal as we bring her on the set. Hello, Madame.
Hello. Hi.
Welcome. I'm feeling the ambiance. It's like Halloween meets come into my home and get a reading.
Yes, there you go.
For Halloween?
Yeah. No plans, but I'm going to babysit my grandbaby for the first time.
For
the first time. Yeah, he was just born, so those are my big plans.
Oh,
Thank
congratulations.
you. And then Mimi.
Is this your
Yeah.
first grandbaby?
It is. It is. It's my first one.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah,
so
it's sweet
special. What
dreams.
a blessing.
It is. Yeah. So that's plenty enough for me.
Crystal, I
Yeah.
want you to introduce yourself. We're not going into any story right now. Just let people know at home who you are, a little bit about your walk of life.
All right. Well, I'm Crystal. I'm a first and foremost. I've been a mom since I was about 17 years old. I have 6 kids and now one grandbaby. I was. I've had a long walk and very treacherous at times. And I'm at the stage in my life where now everything is starting to bloom. And so I would say my life is one of a lot of hardship and oppression.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But here I am, standing on the other side of that. Yeah. Many years later. And I've seen the Spirit work in so many different ways. And through this all, He's just led me and directed me every step that I needed to be. And all of it was absolutely necessary.
Hmm. Wow, we're gonna be diving real deep into that one because I already have so
Yeah.
many questions. Me
Yeah.
and Crystal met. You want to tell people out there how we met?
Okay. At Mandala, yes. And Oracle did a reading for me. I met her serving food, actually. I think in a little crazy kitchen on the side of a river, and it was a beautiful time. We had little secret spots so that we could go hang out, and had a
Hi.
wonderful time. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, so she did a reading for me, and um, Totem came to her, and I needed a tattoo cover up. And that's how we met.
I know this was.
Yeah.
I actually tell the story of your tattoo sometimes when people ask
Okay.
me if I lose focus, and I said, you know what? One time I was tattooing this woman by headlamp, by headlamp because there was nowhere to plug in,
Yep.
and someone asked me, "How long did you stay on?" And I quickly replied, 2 hours. And then she just looked at me and said, "Oracle, we've been here 6 hours."
I've told that story a couple times
Have
too.
you?
Yeah,
We've
yeah,
been here 6 hours. Oh, have we? I'm just
yeah,
time flying by for me.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm in my
But it
zone.
was good. Yeah. And
Beautiful.
it's lovely, and I love it, and it's changed a lot of energy has moved out from that area, and that's nice. Yeah,
And we will meet again at some point when the timing is right to complete it.
yeah, it sounds good.
All right, so we're gonna do what I call, Crystal, is the good news for today. So the good
Mm,
news for today is basically an angel number that Spirit chooses before we get on the show. So today's
okay.
gonna be no different. I'm gonna present the angel number, and then you can just listen, and you guys at home can listen, and then let me know in the comment section below what resonates with you with this message. And I find this number particularly interesting for today, and I have no idea what it means. So to that I say, what's good?
Yeah.
Okay, the angel number that has come through today, I'm writing it out right here. Boop, boop, boop. And it's actually a triplicate number, which is not typical for here. Yeah, I know. It's typical for other places, but for here, no. We got 999. Crystal's already has an inside joke. I know that. She's laughing over it. So this number, 999, is compromised of the vibrations of the number 9 in triplicate. So number 9 resonates with the universal spiritual laws, a higher perspective, influence, benevolence, and altruism, non-conformity, leading life as a positive example for others, influence, a higher perspective and expansive viewpoint, duty and calling, strength of character, philanthropy, humanitarianism, and light working. So number 9 also denotes endings and conclusions. So angel number 999 brings a message that certain aspects of your life are coming to a close and or important phase of a cycle is ending. Trust that this is happening for karmic reasons, which will become evident in the very, very near future. It is clearing the way for you to fully pursue your life purpose and soul mission as your soul's destinies indicates. Trust that all the information, guidance, and assistance you will need upon your path will be supplied to you by the angels and ascended masters and universal energies. Angel number 999 is a strong message to fully devote yourself to your life's mission without delay. Listen to the guidance from the angels if feelings of any fears or doubts about your life path arise. Angel 999 can be a strong suggestion that a phase or phases in your life are coming to a definite end and you can expect many closures in your life. Fear, not as this is preparing you to begin a wonderful new life, or fear not rather, as this is preparing you to come into a new life. This is very imperative that we recognize. And this is bringing a new lifestyle that will see all fall into place for you to in the most positive ways. So 999 is a sign that light workers are to step up to their duties and work for the benefit of humanity and the world as a whole. Angel 999 encourages you to express your unique true self and weave love into every aspect of life. And base your life on the principle of acceptance, integrity, compassion, and cooperation. Realign with your heart and soul and discover your true nature and soul purpose. You have powerful energies within you, and they are to be used for the betterment of your own life and that of others. Listen to your inner yearnings and intuition and follow through with your highest ideals, insights, and ideas, and trust that you will be able to find a comfortable balance between your material, family, and spiritual paths. Thoughts? Anybody thoughts? You guys out there, how do you feel about the Angel 999? For me, what impacted me was the word lifestyle, the change in lifestyle. All too easy, we say, oh, my life is changed, but we don't realize it's the patterning, it's the habits, it's the rituals, it is the lifestyle, the things that you make precedent, that you give priority to, and the things that you take priority away from. These are the things that are shifting. And right now, I personally feel like I'm implementing a lot of new habits and traits that are cementing. So, like when I'm not doing it, my mind now goes, you should be doing X, Y, Z now, instead of mindless scrolling or filling in my time with things that are empty calories. They're not serving. How about you,
Yeah.
Crystal?
Well, I think personally for me, 999 has been showing up in succession for several years. And each time it comes around, I do know that it's an end to something. But more for me, it's the beginning of something even better. So instead of going to that fear place, like you had spoken about, it's just an acceptance of, hey, something better is about to happen as long as I'm listening and I'm doing what I'm supposed to and whatever spirit's letting you do, you know? So for me, it's more actually new beginnings.
Yes.
Because I know that's right on the horizon. And it can take shape in any way. Like you never know what it is. So there's no point in worrying about it. Like you really don't know until it happens. And then you're like, oh, that all makes sense. Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
You
it
don't
is.
know. You don't know when it's gonna happen, or sometimes like what it's even relating to. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
is it my job? Is it my relationship? Is it my friend? Is it something in me? Like, you
Yeah.
don't even know.
No. And sometimes it's just a thought pattern, or like you said, like a small habit, or maybe a car you need to upgrade, or like all of those things. It could be anything.
I like to view
But
it as that. I like
yeah.
that word stood out for me. You said car upgrade. So what stood out for me there was upgrade. So I'm gonna take 999 now
As
as
an upgrade.
as an upgrade. Yep, that's
Yeah.
how I see that. And
Yeah.
usually like this, when we do numbers here, like they never come in like triplicate. I've noticed here, In my regular world, the numbers come in successions of the same because that's what catches our attention, right? Like,
Yeah,
oh, there's
yeah.
a lot of twos happening, or a lot of ones happening. And on here, there's always like a random number, like 172. Like it's never like 3 of something. So it's
Right.
funny that it's
Well,
your number.
yeah, it is. It's my number. And when I pulled a card this morning, it was 9 of Swords, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna take that as triple nines. For me, that's what it comes through as, right? So when you were doing the angel number thing, that's the exact number that came into my mind was 999. That's where we're gonna hit it, and that's what he got. And I was like, no way. Yeah, new beginnings. Good
Mr.
stuff.
Robert said that this reminded him of Love Potion number 9.
Okay.
That show, I think Robert's showing his age a little bit though with that song Love Potion number 9. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
Robert.
I don't know it. I've heard it.
What? You don't know this song? Love?
No, I have. I've heard it. Yeah, I've heard it.
Wait, I think you know what?
Yeah.
Wait, I've never heard it either. No, I've never. I don't even know. I'm 25.
Yeah, right.
I'm 25. I've never even heard of this song. You know what's funny? Someone had messaged me. They were like, "Oh yeah, how old are you?" Because I'm thinking like 28, 29, and
That's nice.
it was because they saw a post that said because that's the joke that I'm 25.
Right.
And I was like, sure. And they're like, no, but which one is it? And I'm like,
Whichever.
Sure. Whichever one you want to pick today.
I like that. Yeah. I don't, yeah. People tend to think that I'm younger than what I am too, but it's happening less often now. You do come to that. Yeah. It happens a little less often.
Well, but, that I guess as we're maturing, we're growing into our energy age is catching up to the physical one.
That's right. But I love it and it's beautiful. And I welcome it. It's good.
It's a blessing. Robert said he's been 22 for 34 years now.
I've been 17.
I've been 25 for at least 12 years now. 13, who knows? I don't really know.
Yeah.
So we have hi May. Thanks for being here. Love it. Crystal, I would love to start to jump into your story. And you can start it from the beginning, maybe from a time when you didn't believe, or like what started to change in your life that you did believe. And I am watching the clock like a hawk today. That's why I keep looking up.
Okay. Yeah. I gotcha.
And then if at some point you want to pull a collective card and share it, just if it comes, if it just so happens to come up maybe at 6:30.
I gotcha.
You totally can and share that with everyone. All right. We're going to jump into the story now. Everybody grab the kids, grab the husband. So in the beginning, Crystal, we'll start from in the beginning.
In the beginning, my first memory was being a 3-year-old and having prophetic dreams. These dreams consisted of end of time things.
Oh.
And what my role was to be in those. So Jesus came to me a lot as a child, and he was my daddy, absolutely. And he spoke to me through dreams. And the first dream, and this is what I'll tell. So I was walking through a hallway of fire, like a burning inferno. And in front of me, there was Jesus. And behind me, there were, hundreds and thousands of people. And we were all holding hands in a single file. And I was following him through the flames, right? Wow. And I knew we were like leading somewhere. So we were leading to this big door. And before we got to the door, he said, so we're going to step through here, and I want you to pay attention and look at all of the things here. And you'll be given what you're supposed to do. Wow. So I stepped through these doors, and it was the best that I know, like a temple. I didn't have words for the things then. Now I've seen all the symbologies, and so I know what it is. It was more of like this was like a synagogue type building, and there were elders standing in front of the congregation, and there was like an elder from many of the different world religions. There was Judaism, there was a Catholic priest, there was, crazy preachers that were yelling, Buddhist. There were all sorts of different religions that were standing there. And he then prompted me to look at the people that were in the pews. And all of the people were faceless. They didn't have faces. And I realized, and I guess I heard then, that they were all like automatons, right? They were all deceived.
Wow.
They were just accepting what was happening. And I was very clear that none of it was the complete truth. So I watched this, and I then entered another set of doors, and that's where I believe I was met by God. It was a presence that was everywhere and all ominous. And he said, when you go back, you have to tell the people the truth.
Mm.
And that was the beginning for me.
You know
and
what?
my perception of the world.
It's interesting because I noticed having, had a wellness center for 7 years and being on this path and traveling the world and the United States. A lot of times when you guys are having your awakenings, you see the end of the world. And I want to say this is also true for myself. When I started to have my awakening, I saw the end of the world and I journaled about it in a lot of detail. But instead of your description that you have, mine turned into witnessing sigils opening portals so that they can come through into this dimensional plane of when that happened. And which is interesting now because now the way that I work, everything for me is like sigils. And I just put those two things together right now as you shared. So
that's beautiful.
I find that very interesting that so many of you guys see these different variations. And it's not like we're saying the world's going to end tomorrow. It could be a million years from now. But the fact is that people are tapping into the Akashic memory of it because time doesn't really, it's not linear.
Right. And my understanding was that through many other dreams after this and putting things together, as an adult and the things that I've learned or unlearned, a lot of unlearning had to happen as well. That for me, it was it's a split, and there will be some of us that are supposed to reach down out of our elevated state. And that's what he meant by sending me back. If you, these aren't the words that because it's very limiting, but if you've heard the word rapture, right? Something like that. If we are going to split from the 3D to the 5D, that's what that's going to look like from what I was shown. Right. And so then there are the people that have to reach back down into that third dimension and hopefully open those portals to bring people up, or however it works.
Exactly. Yeah. For me, in my visual and my vision, and it doesn't, these are just us sharing, right? I remember seeing like the importance of finding these three people. There was, I don't know why this was it, because I still don't know why. There was like three main people that I needed to have. And one was a guy, and then two were women. And these were the three people that I was going into the apocalypse with. We were the ones that were helping to detangle the codes, so to speak, at the time of when I witnessed this. So it's so interesting. It's very interesting because it's like it happened already, like it happened already.
It feels like that. Has it already happened?
Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, has it happened? And it's just,
has it already happened?
Right. Is
Yeah.
it like this something that's gonna stay happening in another plane, and then we are thinking it's gonna be physical, but really
Right.
it isn't?
Right. I don't know. I don't know. I went through the apocalypse with the A team. That was my team.
That is a good team to have, though. I mean, if you're gonna have anybody, listen,
Yeah.
you're gonna have anybody, it has to be the A team.
Yeah. And then later in life, I realized that Mr. T was one of my spirit guides, and that
No,
was a happy, happy day.
you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
Mr.
But
T as a spirit guide.
yeah, Mr. T's one of them. He's pretty cool. Yeah. But
That's
it's
awesome.
just, yeah, it is. But it's his fictional character that was created, you know? But
Of course.
that's the one that's on one of my people. Yeah.
But sometimes people think that spirit guides are those things that something has to be dead in order to be
Mm-mm.
partake in you. But like we just
No.
mentioned, all timelines are collapsed on themselves because everything is circular. So like for me, one of my spirit guides, and the Latin community here will probably understand who I'm talking about, and those who
Okay.
aren't will probably, this will be a brand new name to you. But his name is Walter Mercado, and he
Okay.
died only a few years ago, and he is
Mm.
an astrologer. And his
Okay.
spirit came to me and he said, "No, you're my first steward." And I was like, because he had just died. It was like literally like weeks
Yeah.
after he died. He's like, "No, you're my first steward." And I was like, "Oh, but I don't like astrology."
Guess what?
Please don't make me learn astrology. So we
Yeah.
compromised. We
Mm,
compromised because he loved flamenco.
mm.
And because he loved flamenco, I'm learning flamenco now finally. Although I will say I have two left feet. So even though he did this kind of work before, I keep talking to him like, yo, like this is what you wanted me to do. And you have
Mm.
experience in this. How come I have two left feet? Like you need to give me like some superpowers in my feet to memorize these steps because this is hard.
Yeah. Maybe you will.
And maybe Mr. T will bring you infinite gold chains and
That
give you,
would be good. Or bust us out when we need it. Yep.
bust you out and
Yeah.
also be fashionable all at the same time.
I know, it's pretty fantastic. Have you ever seen the thing that he did, Be Somebody? It was in the, I guess, 80s or 90s. It's a whole music video that he did.
No.
You're gonna have to look it up. It's called Be Somebody.
Is he rapping or singing?
Yes, he's rapping and singing. It's
Oh my
fantastic.
God. I have not seen this.
It'll change your life. It'll change your life. It's great.
What changed my life? The Eddie Murphy song "Party All the Time." Has anybody ever knew that Eddie Murphy can sing because he can? And you got to look up "Party All the Time" because it was actually pretty good.
All right.
Crystal, you have some cards. You're gonna do like a 3-card spread for us or something like that.
Oh, okay. And I have to dig them out. I ran out of work and I left all my things, but there might be a deck here somewhere.
Okay, go look real quick.
I'll look real quick. Okay.
And while Crystal's going in there, just a shout out to everybody. Thank you for being here. I hope your Halloweens go spooky. Remembering that it is the Day of the Dead coming up. And so you can honor them by leaving bread out or anything like that. We're going to go into a quick commercial break while Crystal gets her cards, and we'll be right back.
Yay. So I only found a tarot deck, which I don't generally actually read from. Sometimes I'll pull one card just for a short message. So that's what I'll do. I usually only use and work with oracle cards. That's just my preferred method. But here we go. One just jumped out. And I'm going to put you up. And it's the Magician. The Infinity. Also a precursor to 9. That's beautiful. And I think that's just exactly what's happening right now. We're all getting together and creating a little bit of magic and changing and alchemizing our current situation, which will also lead into our future situation. And that's what I'm experiencing. Death and rebirth. Exactly what we're talking about. 9 of Swords, new beginnings. That's really exciting. And we have the Wheel of Fortune. I'll take that. How about you guys? All right. And how would you feel about pulling the Magician, Death, and Wheel of Fortune? It's pretty powerful cards. It's exactly what has happened for me energetically going through this solar eclipse. Everything completely shifted and all the shadows have come to light that I needed to come to light so far, thus in my life, as well as the people that I love. Lots of beautiful truths. And in that, we're able, because knowledge is power. And when you have knowledge from these hidden shadows, then you can change it, right? You can do what needs to be done. And that's where the Magician energy comes in. And there were definite energetic deaths through that eclipse portal. And we're getting ready to go into a lunar eclipse on Saturday, which I think is really exciting. I'm interested to see what happens next. So I think that Oracle was thrown off the, the TV set, and I really don't know exactly what to say here, but I'm super grateful just to be out and talking to some of the people that I consider very important, and just sharing a little bit of my journey and what's brought me here. Yeah, alchemizing every space and place. That's been this journey.
Okay.
There we go.
Back
Yeah,
now.
we're there.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, everybody. Nice birthday. What did you got, girl? Did you pull the cards already?
I did. Look, and I'm just gonna say this because I usually don't do tarot. I deal with the oracle cards, right?
Okay.
So, but I'm here at my daughter's house, and I ran out, and so I didn't have any of my cards with me. But what I did pull was Magician, Death, and then the Wheel of Fortune.
That's great. That is so on point. Oh my God.
Really?
With the collective energy, that was too funny, too good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I just feel like that was exactly what the triple nines is all about too, right?
Yep.
Yep.
All of those.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for pulling those cards, everybody. I hope that resonated with you. Make sure you guys are giving some hearts to Crystal for liking the cards and uh, everything. So, Crystal, you had these visions when you were small, these prophetic dreams. What did the adults think about that?
My mom was very, very, very Christian based in a lot of her thinking. So those things were not something that I could really talk to people, because I understood, and I was understanding very young that, like, for me, Jesus wasn't God, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, it does. It's people, we talk about the Holy Trinity, and I associate the Holy Trinity as vapor, gas. I mean, vapor, water in its neutral form, vapor in releasing form, and then the third one. How was the third one? It was vapor. Oh, and ice. So that it's the same thing, but it can be transformed into something else, even though it was the same thing. So I get it.
Yeah, yeah. And so anyway, but I did have a lot of my mom had prophetic dreams, and we had a very different walk growing up. So yeah, she was the only adult that I really shared those things with until I was older, and I started asking questions, to some of my like religious leaders or whatever, and didn't quite get the answers that I needed, and knew that, okay, I was on the right track myself. And so I just continue to follow that.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that. Especially we can live the life that we're told to live. And I feel like when we start following in the steps of what we're told, we're living somebody else's life. We're living somebody else's understanding, somebody else's dream. And really we're living in the shadow of our ancestors, is what I want to say.
Yeah,
It's up
that's
to
right.
us to walk our own path and figure out what is for us, what resonates for us, and what doesn't resonate with us.
That's right. That was part of it. And let's see. So the dreams have continued, obviously, to this day. I'm still deciphering them all. Yeah, I mean, that's just been my life. And since 2020, though, a lot has ramped up for me, and understanding what my abilities and my gifts are, and I don't really want to put labels onto them, so it's like, it's hard for me to say, because I don't know how to label that. I just am in constant understanding and communion, and hope that I'm not actually crazy.
What's funny? I don't remember this quote, what it was verbatim, but the gist of it was like, if you've ever said that you're crazy, then you aren't. And the reason for that is because crazy people don't know they're crazy. So if you're questioning it, then you're actually just doing something uncomfortable.
That's all right. Same with narcissism.
A little bit of A, a little bit from column B, a little bit from column me.
Yeah, that's right. True.
with column me all the way. That's hilarious. So how do you feel like, having grown up with this energy, how it has, or like these abilities, how do you feel like that affected you as like friends, or like fitting in, like in yourself? We don't always share things like this, because then people go, oh, that's weird, right? So how did that affect you as a human? Like, do you feel like it had an implication?
Oh yeah, for sure. When I was little, it was really easy to share, because kids aren't, I don't know, maybe they're just, my experience was kids kind of just listen to you. And from a little age, I could see, I could shine lights out of my fingers, and could see people's auras and all of those moving things. And then when I got a little bit older, you start telling kids things past, 5, 6 years old, then they start teasing you and whatever. So you whatever. That's just childhood, and you deal with that. But I would say that having friends has been very difficult, I guess. Strange. There's not a whole lot of them out there. And the ones that are amazing. And those are my true friends. But those haven't come in until later adulthood, you know? It's just you can only go so far with people.
Yeah.
And you know, when you hit that place, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with them or with you. It's just like it's a waste of time, it feels like, you know, other than just loving people and caring for the people that you need to. But friendships, yeah, that's been difficult.
Is it still difficult
Yeah.
to this day?
No, I don't feel like it is now. I mean, people we talk more, right? We're being more honest. People are being more authentic, and we're all figuring out who the other strange people are. I call it it reminds me of what is it, the X-Men, right? X-Men Unite. Like, we're all figuring out what our superpowers are, and so that we can start coming together. And if you're walking that path, now is the time. We are going to be brought together because we have work to do.
Yeah.
And we can walk those single file lines. And that's the thing that dream showed me and gave me so much comfort, because I knew it was going to be a single file life, right? There was going to be people all around me, but I had to do it single file alone in that sense. But they're all still there, and now we can come together. And I do feel that. But it's still very single file most days. Yeah. You know, but we can get together from here and there, you know, and like share experiences and lift each other up. And, you know, when there's stuff to be done, I think we can come together and make those things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What would you feel if there was somebody who was kind of like in that space that you were once in, where it was kind of like, okay, there isn't anyone here for me to lean on, and I am in the mode of the single file line, and this gets kind of old. Do you have any like suggestions or guidance for people who are feeling like, dang, I'm alone. I'm just straight up alone in this. And am I crazy? Am I not crazy? Like, do you have guidance for anybody who's in that space?
Oh, that's difficult. But really, the guidance is you are never alone. No matter how the circumstance looks around you, you know, you have all of the people behind you that are your ancestors, your loved ones, your angels, your guides. They're always there. And if you can tune into that, I promise you will not be lonely. There's a lot of them.
There is a lot of them.
Yeah.
Are you aware of any of your guides? I know we talked about Ascended Master, Jesus, but do you have other guides that you're aware that are with you?
Well, okay, I would use a different terminology, because some of them I see as guides, and some like companions, or maybe even familiars. And I've had to weed out what's good and what's bad for me, right? Just like friends. Are you a good influence on me, or are you a bad influence on me?
Have you had any that were a bad influence on you?
Well, you know, there's the whispers, I call them. And so, yeah, those would be, right? Like, they're telling you, the ones that give you body dysmorphia, or the ones that put you, you know, or into the pattern of habits or addictions and things like that. And so we all have all sorts of things around us, whether it's negative or positive, right? And some are good entities, some are bad entities. So differentiate, you know, those it's a kind of that's a difficult place. And you learn it, though, if you're in tune, I guess, if you're like looking for it. Is this a good energy for me? Is this not? Now, my guides, I would say my main guide I do is the Holy Spirit. And I test everything by the Holy Spirit. And that's the really still, peaceful voice that I have, and lets me know I'm going in the right direction. But I do have an old lady. I have some other people, and I have lots of ancestors that I see, you know, and I can feel them with me a lot. And those have just come in like over the last year, and it's been quite something, you know. I've been visited by Ra. I've been visited by Isis. But then also, these are things what does my mind comprehend? I don't know what those things would look like to you, per se, So that's why I don't like to put a label on it.
Well, I mean,
Or who these guys are,
it's
yeah.
your story. You get to pick out the colors,
Yeah.
the atmosphere. Like an
Yeah.
example would be, I've also had Isis and Ra and Amun
Mhm.
visit me.
Mhm.
And a facet of myself, of my spirit, is Amunet. So I do
Mhm.
understand what you're saying, but when I expressed this to one of my friends, actually he might be on here next week, Igor. He just went to
Mhm.
Egypt recently. When I share my stories with him, he sees them as other archetypes, other archetypes.
Yeah.
So, I feel for the most part, they're all pretty similar. They're
Mhm.
all similar. They just changed with the culture and then the the timing. The timing
Yeah.
changes through time. They get different names, but ultimately
Yeah.
they're all still the
It's the
same.
same energy. Yeah, it's the same energy just carried over into different beings. Yeah. And everything has presented itself very differently. So for my experience with Ra, I literally had a visual vision that looked like it was floating outside of myself, and it was the eye manifested from an orb. And I was there with several people, and I really did. I thought this was it. I had just lost it because nobody else was seeing what I was seeing, but I was seeing it. And after that, a lot of new knowledge came in. A whole lot of new knowledge came in. And that's been my experience. They don't constantly communicate with me, but they come in and they tell me things. And then I get what I need and I move on, or they move on. And there's, I would feel, yeah, there's some that have always just been with me. And Jesus is definitely one of them. He's just always kind of been there. But then I also understand that wasn't actually his name. But, we're not going to get into all that. But that's how people can understand who Jesus is if I call him Jesus.
This is
So that's
true.
what I mean by, like, yeah, it's hard to put labels on things.
When I was
Yeah.
I remember when I was like a teenager, I had a dream with him in it. And I remember this dream, even though now I do predominant dream work now. But
Mm.
then it was like, there's been so many dreams from here to then, but this one really stands out. And it was like I had my hands cupped like this. And
Mm.
there was water in my hands. And then as I looked into my hands at the water, I saw his face in my hands. And I remember waking up that morning and going to
Mm.
my mom and going, I think I'm going to die.
Oh no.
because Jesus visited me in a dream.
I thought I was gonna die a lot of times. Not from that exact thing, but yeah. And one and he might be watching this, so it might be a little weird, but one very prevalent guide for me, and I can label this one because I'm sure of who it is actually my partner's higher self. He he comes to me a lot, and he comes to me in dreams and visions, and he has helped protect me many times and shown me lots of things.
No, I
And
understand.
yeah, having that experience is really surreal for me, and it's still kind of hard to wrap my head around it because the differentiation between the real person and
And the spirit.
the spirit, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, yeah. But that was another huge awakening, and when that happened, I was like in the darkest night of my soul that I've ever been through, and the way that it came through, there was no denying that for me. And I had an actual tangible face to put to it. But how do you understand that if they're not dead?
Because of the timeline that we talked about.
Of
When
course, yeah, absolutely. Now I get it. Yeah, exactly. But it took a minute to wrap my head around that. But now I'm really comfortable with it, and I just know that he's like one of my guardian angels. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
felt the same way too.
Mhm.
because I've also had experiences where I'm going to say omnipresent with certain people. They'll message me and be like, you're standing right here in front of me right now doing a healing.
Yes.
And I'm
Yes.
halfway across the world. So
Yeah.
I do understand that our spirit and our soul missions are connected to people, places, and things that allow us
Yes.
to move in another plane of existence simultaneously
Mm.
while our humanity is standing on the earth. Our spirit is
Mhm.
doing what the spirit does.
Oh yeah, I've seen you that way too, Oracle. I told you. I think I texted you and I told you about what I saw um with you. You visited and you expanded and you were gigantic.
Oh yes, yes,
Mm. It
that's
was
funny.
wild. It was wild. Yeah, it was pretty wild.
And you were just like driving somewhere. Like what
Yeah,
happened with
I was just driving down my road and it's hard because sometimes I lose things after they happen, but I was just driving down my road going to work and all of a sudden you were just very much there. And I saw you energetically, but you were expanding like a tree trunk. Like I don't know how to like you were a giant redwood tree, but it was you, right? And that's the presence that I felt. And I was like, whoa, that was Oracle. That was pretty cool. I gotta let her know about that.
It
Yeah.
was really cool when you messaged me about it. I forgot that you did until right now because
Mm,
this actually happens a lot. And
yeah.
I remember messaging you back saying, "Oh, I put a disclaimer on Instagram that if anyone sees me, is because I'm heavily doing dream work right now. I call it dream work because this
Mm,
type of shamanism. It comes from
right.
Lithuania, and we work with bees, and bees are the basically like the totem animal for dreams. And
Mm,
so when the night before you had messaged me, I was sitting in deep meditation and I felt that expansion actually happen. And I was sitting and I cognized, whoa, I just got
mm,
huge. And I felt
yeah.
myself expand. And when I looked up, I had became a redwood in California. And I was like, okay, I got to visit California. And when you had messaged me about it, I laughed so hard. And I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, not to you, but to like spirit. I was like, yeah, I got it. I have to go to California. I have to go to the redwoods. I got it.
That's
So,
great.
but I thought that was really fun and magical and special. Is there any last final thoughts before we close off this feed in the next 2 minutes, Crystal? There's anything on your
Mm.
heart that you want to share with the collective?
Oh, that you guys are so protected. All of those ancestors that I talked about, but angels, all you have to do is call on them and you're so protected. And I know times are a bit scary right now and things are happening all over the world that are unjust and horrible and people are dying right now as we're speaking and our hearts should be very heavy. But these are the times that we were called for. This is the time that we're supposed to stand up for what's right and put our feet in motion and do the thing. Do it. Whatever it is that Spirit's telling you to do it.
Oh
Now's the
my God.
time.
It is the
Yeah,
time. If you're hearing the nudge, the niggle, as it's called, if you're
it's
hearing the
time.
niggle, go ahead and do it. All right, we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Crystal, for being here. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I'm going to give
Thank
my
you.
final thoughts to you guys at home, and let's wrap this up con mucho amor. Do you or someone you know experience something supernatural that has left a positive impact on yourself or the lives of others? Want to share your story on our show? Please email Divine Encounters at e360tv.com. And together, let's create divine experiences. And now, the Oracle's final thoughts con mucho amor. So, my final thoughts on this episode is that there is a pot for every kettle. All right, there's a lid for every pot, rather, I want to say. That those things that we witness that are just for us come in a phone call from the divine to us, and it's not a conference call. Some people may think they know what you're experiencing, they may think they know what you're going through, but really it's just sometimes people listen through the walls and mismatch the information. So make sure you stay clear and don't let any seeds of doubt segue you off the path that you know is meant for you. Go forward and encounter more. I dare you. And above all else, may you go in love, light, and wisdom to know thyself, love thyself. And remember, the divine always has your back. I'll see you right here Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with all of your horoscopes. And next week on Wednesday at 6 p.m. for a supernatural story time. Jump onto the E360 TV network right now to check out the whole living show because we're about to have a whole bunch of ladies and have a great time. Ciao!
Everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels the most, just call me. Just call me. Just call me.